Glorify Him.
Slavete
Jeho.
I apologize, I still have the old memory. So when I get that, I'll start shouting out. What I wanted to begin with actually has nothing to do with what I wanted to talk about today. Just an anecdote that I thought was nice this morning. As I'm sure you noticed, if you weren't actively being blown away this morning, the wind is quite fierce out there. And so this morning, as I was opening up the church, beginning everything that I was trying to do, I could hear things whipping around. I left the door unlocked, and I can hear the door kind of like smashing open. But funny enough, as I began to pray, and then as I began to prepare for the entirety of the liturgy, the wind stopped for quite a while. It was very nice, and it just reminded me that God is always with us. It reminded me of the calming of the seas when the Lord was asleep and the disciples began to panic. So, just a nice anecdote. What I wanted to talk about today is actually those who we commemorated yesterday. And I find it fitting that Father Stephen and his family are graciously with us today because he, being the camp director, the patron saints of the camp are the Holy Innocents, whom we commemorated yesterday. 14,000 children who were slaughtered looking for Christ. And, of course, there's no coincidence in God that all of these things line up. And that the Sunday after the Nativity, we read the same reading that we would for the day after, that we constantly hear this repetition of these, the first martyrs. And this is what the church considers them, as the first of all martyrs, that they had to die. That like Moses in the Old Testament, that there was this constant search for who would usurp power. And that unfortunately those who could not fight back gave their lives to protect he who would save all of them. And I believe it was Lao Tzu, you'll have to forgive me if I'm wrong, but in the book The Art of War, there is teachings on how to break the spirit of the people you are fighting. Two of the most prominent ways are to salt their fields so that they can no longer grow and sustain themselves while alive. And the second is to burn their places of worship. That way they have no God to turn to. But one of the other things that is unstated is that if you kill their youth, you destroy their hope. That this is not something that is idly done. There was a purpose. It wasn't just, Christ may come and I will be kicked off of my throne, I should worry. It is, these people dare to believe that there is a king past me, and I will take their hope from them. And we have to recognize the sort of irony in this, that in the human destruction of hope, in this attempt by apparently a very anxious and feeling of inadequacy. Whatever, Herod knows he wasn't the greatest. So, but in this feeling of, there is somebody who should replace me, I will destroy any potential for it. I will remove the hope of these people. But what do we call Christ in all of our prayers in the Divine Liturgy, but Christ our hope? That the one who was not destroyed, the one who had escaped this slaughter of innocents, is the hope of the entire world, is the hope of all of us today. That when we see all of the tragedy that can break us of our hope, not just in the Old Testament or the New Testament or in the news, that we constantly have the understanding that hope has surpassed all of this. That even in the darkest of our times that we can see, there is no such part that is not flooded with light, if you only turn your head the right way. And it's something to be remembered, because there's no shortage of terrible tragedies that we see today. It's easy to look around and feel as though we are getting worse, as though times are becoming harder. But yet, we have the joy of the Nativity that we just celebrated to remind us that God came to us to remedy this. God came to us to bestow on us this idea that there is an end to the suffering that we all can see and that we may experience. And as I told my Sunday school students this morning, the entirety of the book of Revelation is this idea of a book of hope. That John was reaching out to the churches and saying there will be an end, and while it looks dark because we are dying, we are being persecuted, we are being attacked, there is hope because we have Christ. That what light has been given to us has not been taken away from us. That no matter the war put against us, we always have a better ending. And as I was told early in my time at seminary by Father Lawrence Berger, no matter what you endure, in the end we will be vindicated. Because Christ comes not just to us in his nativity, but will come to us in his second coming, saying, "Behold, I make all things new." And this is our hope. This is the hope of all those who died more or less to protect Christ. These first martyrs of the church, the holy innocents whom we commemorated yesterday, but that we should remember all the time for the hope that they represent. That while their mothers and Rachel were weeping, it would not be consoled. That their weeping is not in vain. That God hears the tears of those who hope on him and sends back the promise that we will be vindicated. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Christ is born.
Glorify him.
Christos died.
Svet je.